should be recording now. Yeah, so we try to make it as easy as possible to upgrade, whether you're upgrading from Pyroscope or upgrading from Flare. The things that we did for that are the agents should be, no matter which agent you are using, it should work with the new Pyroscope 1.0. I would say the biggest differences are the new architecture. Basically, we sort of redesigned Pyroscope to be more in line with low-key, tempo, Mimir, be horizontally scalable, whereas before Pyroscope was not, and have the option for storage, pluggable storage via like object storage, and yeah, and so we have the new architecture. We have the license change. We changed it from Apache to AGPL. For most people, this doesn't really make a difference, but just is more in line with the other databases. And then, yeah, I would say probably one of the manual changes that you would have to make is the new Docker repository. Rather than being at Pyroscope, it's now at Grafana. Pyroscope/Pyroscope. It's now at Grafana/Pyroscope. Yeah, I think those are probably the main ones. I don't know. Is there anything that I'm missing or that we should add here, Pyroscope team?
It's pretty good. Pretty good overview.
Yeah. We dropped support for some of these commands. We may bring them back if, I guess, you were using any of these before Pyroscope 1.0 and are missing them. Definitely let us know. We actually were just talking about this in an internal meeting.
But I just want to add that, like, the reason we're dropping these is because we do have support for all these kind of use cases through better means. So, for example, for each language, we now have like native support where for Python, you do pip install Pyroscope or something like that. And you don't have to do this, Pyroscope Connect thing or Pyroscope exec. For Pyroscope agent, we now have Grafana agent. So that's also way more powerful and is overall better. So yeah, in most cases, the idea is that you won't need those, and there are better ways of integrating. But every once in a while, there are some situations where people still need to do like Pyroscope Connect, and yeah, we're kind of evaluating if we need to bring it back, that kind of thing.
Yep. Yeah. So I think that's all I will share about those. Any questions about Pyroscope 1.0 stuff?
Setup? Is that the question? Or is it about Pyroscope 1.0 setup? Was that? Or just in general, any questions are welcome now.
I would say, I mean, Pyroscope 1.0 or any other questions, happy to answer those too.
Yeah, so I have it in Pyroscope 1.0 only. I think I didn't have any problems migrating over. I was using the 37.2 version, and then I just basically got the Kubernetes YAML from the Helm template, and I just configured it to run on our cluster, so that was fine. I was able to get storage working, connecting to our S3 bucket with the access key and secret, just as how it's in the doc. So Ryan, just answering your question on that. But I think the problem that I am seeing is that I do see those things, but let's say my Pyroscope server pod restarts, or if I say the main purpose of doing storage in S3 is that you can retrieve those profiles at a later time. So I just deleted the pod and bought about a new pod, which was not able to pull this information. It still showed, like, I went back for a couple of hours where I knew data was being sent to S3, but I still didn't see that data show up. So I was not sure if I was missing something. I just added the storage configuration as is, and I was actually seeing the data persisted even in S3. Yeah. Any pointers, insights?
Christian, do you know what could be the issue?
Could be many things, but so So like you are using the Helm chart exactly? So like is
Yeah,
the volume still mounted that
yeah, the volume
before the
is
deletion?
mounted.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's the same. Maybe so okay. So if I am understanding it correctly, when I delete it, okay, this could be why that's happening. Now that you mentioned the volume, but
Mhm. So like
doesn't make
in
sense.
general, we query the object store after hours. So I don't know, I think it's 8 or 12 or something like that is the default. So there's a setting query store after, maybe is the name of it. And so that might be because you don't get results, I guess.
Sorry. Could you please repeat that?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like, we have, in theory, we have, it's 4 hours according to Brian. So in theory, we have three kind of storages. Like one is in memory. So that's kind of
Right.
the most recent one. Then we write to local disk. That's kind of after memory. It's like within those 4 hours, and then we go from S3. Like I don't know. Like I think I'm not too sure. Like we upload the blocks kind of asynchronously to S3, and you saw them being uploaded. And
Okay.
then to get them back, I guess it depends which hour you're querying, where they are coming from. So if it's more than 4 hours, we would go to the store gateway. So now is maybe where I think things might go wrong, because we have those label endpoints, or when you are in the UI, you get suggested like namespace and things like that. And those are currently only coming from memory. So they are
Okay.
not coming from the disk, and they are not coming from object store. So
that's
that is
that is
maybe my
whatever you
best
see in the.
guess.
So whatever is in the UI, it's not coming from.
Yeah. So like, but if you kind of copy the kind of query statements, or like I don't know, profile underscore CPU, like that,
Oh,
the long
okay.
bit with the selector, and run query, then you should still get the right
Okay.
results.
So
But like
basically, if I
the
run a
drop
query,
down is just empty
so
right
the
now.
UI might not be pulling that data from S3, but if I run like a FameQL query or something like that, I should be able to see that.
Yeah. Or that would be my next kind of thing to verify. I think I saw your message in one of our Slacks. Like maybe tag me a bit harder on it, then I can take another look.
Sure. So basically, am I understanding that we would not see it in the UI at all? Like it will not.
So you would not see them or like if you currently ingest profiles like this very moment, then your memory will have the labels and like it will just work. But if you stop ingesting, then you like the drop down menu would be empty. You wouldn't see CPU, memory profiles, and so on. So it would look empty, basically.
No, that still doesn't answer my question. Maybe I'm not framing it right. Sorry. Let me rephrase it. So uh, I am running the server. It's continuously ingesting the profiles into S3, right? Like I'm doing something, I'm running the profiling, right? Like Pyroscope profiling is consistently running, right? Like it profiles its own self sometimes, right? So that's consistently running, and that's being written to S3. And I can see those folders getting created, especially the index meta.json, all the files. And once that's persisted, so there are like a couple of buckets that get created. Then what happens is I turned so that was, let's say I ran this between 9 o'clock 9 p.m to 9:10 p.m PST, and I was getting data. I was able to push data continuously, right? Now what happens is I turned it off, right? Like for instance, I deleted the whole server, I deleted the volume mount and everything, and I like I applied the YAML again, which means it brought up a brand new server. And I said, okay, from now on, again, start posting the data. It was working fine. It created other folders. But when I said, okay, in my UI, try to get me data between 9 o'clock and 9:10, which I knew that I had sent the data to S3, I was not seeing it. So I'm a little like not sure if, because this was just like within 5-10 minutes. It was not even like within 4 hours. So maybe I didn't like really uh, the second thing is maybe the UI. If you're telling me UI will never show it, well, I think I can understand that. But uh, if there is a like something that I'm missing. I just want to know that.
Yeah. So like I think there's definitely a problem with the labels. Like the UI won't show it right after you start. And I think like you explaining it again, I also think we don't run the store gateway in the default Helm chart with single. Like you run one port as a stateful set, I'm assuming.
Right, correct.
And so like there's no storage gateway. So I think this is an issue that is created but not fixed. I need to look for it.
Okay.
So I don't think
okay.
any of this is like down to the way you run it. So like definitely like kind of bugs or not implemented features, depending which way you.
Okay. So I mean, I just have to figure out if I can query for that data and I see that data.
And so basically, the store gateway is the component that would read from the bucket, and I think we don't even run that. Like, let me just find the issue.
Sounds good. Okay.
So, like, maybe you need to run in the microservices mode for the time being to get that.
I see. Okay, that is a fair point. And another question that I had was, okay, that answers it. So when you say it persists on the disk, it basically is some volume on the pod itself, right? Like if not S3, so if the pod goes, that volume goes as well, right? Unless and until the volume is intact. Let's say the volume is intact, but you delete the pod or whatever, it still goes away, right? Like that data is still, it's not persistent or what? It's not a persistent volume claim is what I'm trying to say at the end of the day, right?
I don't know. Like it depends what the values YAML is you used.
Okay, I can share that, but there is
basically like if there's a PVC and you didn't delete the PVC, then the local data should be still there. Like after you're deleting a pod.
Awesome. That makes sense. So that's also another option that we could still use, if not S3.
So like if you really want one pod, you don't even need an object store, I guess. You would just use that local data forever. Like it scales not too well, I guess, as you can imagine, but like for a small setup, that will work.
So so exactly in my config map, when I configure storage, I just put in the PVC instead over there instead of the S3.
You just put nothing, I guess. So like it will always use it, and if you configure S3, then it will upload to it. But yeah, if you don't configure it, it will just like read from local. And we also clear the oldest block once we reach kind of disk capacity. So like that you
so local would here mean a persistent volume.
So like I think maybe as your setup sounds like that's probably the best way forward, I think.
Yeah. I mean, if you tell me that the persistent volume claim is all the way I run it, I would get it, and if I don't delete that, I would have the data. Then that works perfect. That works perfect.
So like it maybe needs a persistence.enable.true, like maybe share the values YAML, but that should make the difference then.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll share the values YAML with you, but I think that if that's enabled, then that should at least work for an intermediate purpose, because we don't need it like for days together or anything like that. It's basically just to identify a problem over like 2 days or something like that. So
no, sounds good. So I also posted the store gateway issue. So that is the one that we haven't implemented. That's why you would never be able to run from the bucket in one pod setup.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I've got to drop off right now, but I think I'm very happy. Thank you so much for all the patience and all the answers, and I'll keep you guys posted on our journey as well.
Yeah, let us know how it goes.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Question? Yep.
Yeah, sorry. First of all, I wanted to thank you for the huge milestone you accomplished there. So Pyroscope 1.0 is quite awesome. We are currently on a setup using the Flare with the JP Prof that we developed 8 months ago, something like that. And you said that it would be easy to migrate to Pyroscope. So is it something doable in the 2 steps process? So first of all, you migrate from Flare to Pyroscope and then from the JP Prof to the Pyroscope agent? Or should we do a big bang and move both at the same time?
I think I would split the two.
I mean,
So
if that's possible, I think that's preferable, but I just wanted to make sure this is that.
No,
possible.
I think that would
Sorry,
seem to be the right way forward. I think, I don't know, like, do you remember the Flare version you were using? So, like, I'm not 100% sure if we support the oldest block still.
Okay, all right. So basically, I should probably migrate from the latest, I mean, from our actual version to our latest weekly version, something like that. And then from the latest
maybe
weekly
that could
version
be a
to,
good
okay.
step in between. Yeah.
Which agent were you were using? The Java agent?
The JP Prof developed by the Grafana agent, which is scraping an endpoint exposed with JP Prof.
Interesting. Okay.
Which is absolutely not ideal, but was good enough to make a proof of concept, to push the project internally.
Yeah, because I would say that's one thing that the newer Pyroscope, for the newer Pyroscope agent as of right now, you would have to use the SDK, which doesn't do, because if I understand, I guess I wasn't here, then that one does the scraping, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so we're working on right now where you can also do Java profiling via the Grafana agent, and should have it by the end in the next like couple months. So yeah, maybe if you did something in the meantime, and then you could kind of try that integration out when we have that completed. But yeah, as of right now, if you switch to the Pyroscope Java integration, it's SDK that you would have to like add to your application. It's pretty easy to add, but it wouldn't be able to scrape via the Grafana agent as yours currently does. Yeah, we have been looking for. We've kind of been testing it internally, the Java profiling via the Grafana agent, but haven't released it yet.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we're not partially, we do not partially links with the Grafana agent. I mean, the SDK is fine for us too. So I think for the meantime, I'll just use the SDK.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, let us know if you need any help with that. But yeah, I think it should be pretty straightforward. I will paste a we obviously have the docs themselves, but then on GitHub in our examples folder, we have.
I think I've seen that. This is just a single line of code, or maybe just
yeah, exactly.
when you launch the car, you can attach the agent, I think.
Yeah, I'll send it to you on Slack so that this, when this meeting goes away, you still have it. But yeah, we have a couple of different examples that you can use to check out how to add it.
All right, perfect. Thanks.
Let me send it. There's one. There's two. I will also put it in the meeting notes. Cool. Any other questions?
Fine. I'm here. Thanks for answering that.
Yeah, no problem. Dima, do you want to talk at all about OTel? Maybe like a quick overview?
Yeah, so the quick overview is that we created an OTEP, which is Open Telemetry. I don't remember what it stands for. Basically, like a proposal for a change in Open Telemetry specification. And the change we're making is we're adding a specification for profiles data type. Open Telemetry already has support for traces, for metrics, for logs. And the vision is, to have this vendor agnostic way of adding all of this telemetry, to your applications. And yeah, we're adding that for profiling to Open Telemetry. There's a PR. I think we have a link to it in the meeting notes. I'll also send it here. Yeah, there's a lot of comments. If you are interested in this, please go there, participate in the discussion, add some emojis. Yeah, did you have a question?
No, I mean, that looks cool. Thanks for the link. I was going to ask for the link, but I already answered that.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah, excited to see that move forward. Props to Dima. Yeah, I think that's all we got for today. If there's no other questions, then we can give some time back, and we will see you at the next one. Yeah, let us know if you have any other questions about the getting upgraded both agent and server side.
I hope to find time to do that by October, but why? Who knows?
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
All right. Talk to everyone later. Bye.